Welcome to First and Goal, where everything is made up and the points don't matter. Get ready for the latest and hottest topics in the SML. Let's get started. Here's your host, Mad Bomber.
All right, welcome to First and Goal. This week's episode, of course, we have Prime, 16-time champ. Look at his eyebrows. He's been a whole week and a half without being sick. So that's
We're
good.
due, baby. We're due.
We'll see if he can make it through this episode. We got Rowan back, fresh off of work, and Grams. He's gonna make a repeat performance on here. Hopefully, take home the W. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. Thanks for having me.
I'm good. Doing well.
All right, so we're gonna jump right into it before the snow here cuts out my electricity. Topic one, we're gonna go right at who's trash. What division is the worst in the SML right now? I know we had some talks about the NFC East, but really right now they're definitely not one I would consider the worst. What do you guys think? And we'll start with you, Prime.
Yeah, NFC East, definitely not. Got a new guy, QP's in there. Eagles aren't bad. Grams, I think he's finding his way now. Obviously, Rowan's a solid player as well. It's cliche, and it's expected. It's the right answer, and the right answer is the NFC North, and here's why. You got 500 Mike, and his confidence is a little high, but I haven't even seen 500 Mike make 500 in a while. He struggles to hit 500. You've got Chova Lions, who he's more likely to pick top 5 than freaking I am to be humble and be kind. Yeah, well, guess what? Chova sucks. Chova's
wrong show for that.
You got Fig, who is easily the worst GM in the SML. And Faz, who honestly was a shooting star. He was the next big thing, and he didn't really seize that. NFC North in a nutshell, one guy who already blew his load.
Okay. Rowan, what do you think?
I mean, I hate to be generic and say the same thing, but it's really not even that close. The NFC North is a good foot below everyone else. Like you said, you got 500 Mike, who is good when he wants to be, and that's every other day. You got Hova and Figs, who are probably like bottom 3 in the league, debatably. Figs had one season where he thought he was walking on the sun, and now he's awful again, and he trades away anyone that would make him good. And Hova just doesn't seem like he knows how to play the game all that well. And then you got Faz, who shows he's extremely beatable. So if I was in that division, I'd love it because I'd see 4 easy wins. Mike maybe gets one off you now and then I think I could split one with Faz. So you're looking at 6 wins guaranteed in your division every single year, and that's way too easy.
All right, Gramps, what do you think? You need a clean sweep here?
I think that's some fuzzy math that Ro has there. He's going to add himself to the division and get 6 free wins, but he's going to split with Faz. So I'm a little confused on that, but that's fine. I understand we just woke Ro up. But no, I'm going to take the AFC North on this. And I thought about this a lot. And this was a lot easier for me before playing Figs. After he benched Brady after one errant pass and just completely went in the tank after that, I did reconsider this a little bit. But I still don't think – I think that the top team in the AFC North versus the top team in the NFC North, the NFC North has it. And I feel the same when you talk about the bottom team. And then, like, the middle, I think, is up for grabs and probably has the NFC North advantage. But it's really close. I think both of those teams are close, and you can look at it either way. But I'm going to take the AFC North on this. And when you look at strength of team, it really evens that out even more because I think the AFC North has much better teams than the NFC North. Some of that from the owners, demolition of their teams and better team management in the AFC North.
I've got one. Well, question for you guys. If you got your house on the line, who are you putting it on? Chova or KJ Slander in the game in a death match? Who do you put your house on to save your house?
God, I'm not putting my house on that game.
That's a tough one.
Give me another option.
I find a realtor who has low commission who's going to save me money.
I'd go with KJ just because I think the
I'd go
computer
with
might
KJ.
help him out. He's got
Yeah,
he's got the better team, so I
I'm
would
going with
probably go
KJ.
with KJ there.
Yeah, I'm going with KJ.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the easy choice is the NFC North. I think. I mean, you have Faz, and then you have, you know, three guys that are probably in the same category as Two Step. And
I don't disagree.
that's
I was
kind of a
surprised
step
at how
up for two of them.
lopsided.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was
I
just
would lean
surprised at
towards
how
them.
lopsided the voting was.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the attempt to go outside the box. Rowan said he hates to follow and just do the same thing, and then went ahead and did it. So I'll give Grams a bonus
Yeah, I
point
mean,
for changing it up.
The NFC North is a lot like an engine that just has like junk put in it. You just want to put some nice seafoam in there and pour it in there, and maybe it'll get going. But I don't think that'll do the trick. We just need to wait till Madden 22, and hopefully the team selection draft will fix that.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out next season. But topic 2, since we're talking about teams that could use a little help in the worst division, we're gonna turn topic 2 into the first and goal advice line. So if you guys could give one team or two teams or however many teams you really feel like giving advice to, how would you help some teams out? And we'll start with you, Rowan.
I'm gonna keep it in a division here, and even within the show, and go to Grams. No disrespect or anything here. I just like seeing my division succeed. When they're not playing me.
Here we go.
The better my division is, the better it makes me. So I think Grams. There was a discussion about it in chat this morning that you might have done it too much last night. But if I had any advice, it would be run the ball. Zeke is insane. You're a good passer, but when you're doing it all the game, it gives you more times to make mistakes. And just setting up that run will help the pass. So Zeke, if you get that X factor lit like you did, I'm sure you saw, it's almost impossible to stop. So whenever you're not playing me and you're playing everybody else in the league, just run the ball, please.
All right, let's just go straight
Fair
to
enough.
Grams. I'm sure he's got a rebuttal first, but go ahead.
No, no rebuttal. He's absolutely right. I actually ran. I had the Cowboys in 2 leagues, and I ran for 600 yards last night. Yeah, I usually struggle with the run, even though I have a good running back. I'm not the best runner, and I do enjoy passing, so try to mix it up a bunch. I've found a lot of times people stack the box and make you pass it. So, but I appreciate Rose thought, and definitely true, and it's definitely being heard. I've got 5 quick hits here. One,
right.
Eagles, don't drink bourbon while playing. That's only something that true men like myself can handle. Makes us better. Also, if you're going to have Pappy and Blattens, invite Grams over. He wants some. 2, Vikings, find a new vision or you'll never be prepared for the playoffs. Boom. Seahawks, lose the rest of your games, please. Make the Cowboys great again. Lions, draft another corner. Jets, see Lions advice. You guys both need them. You drafted corners in each of the last 3 drafts. You've stolen all of the best corners. You had good corners to start, and it's getting frustrating. I want to get a corner myself, but I'm never picking in that top 3 spot. So you guys just keep doing what you're doing. It's a great job.
And it seems to be working. I think they have 2 wins between them, maybe. All right, Prime, what do you got? I'm sure you have some great advice.
Yeah, actually, I want to go to Meat, somebody who's good, and he's in the playoffs all the time, but this year he's going to really struggle making the Super Bowl again. And here's why, as Rowan Cudds broke his neck. So Meats is a guy who honestly utilizes abilities probably better than anybody, and he gets a lot of flack for it, but that's what he does well. Last cycle, he had Lamar, Hollywood Brown, and Freddie Golden, and Freddie Golden was a freak in nature, gave everybody headaches. Actually, I think, Bomber, you probably played Freddie Golden once or twice, if I'm not mistaken. So for Meats, he's got this cute little the committee at running back, and it's cute, and he can make graphics, and it's really fun. But the deal is that with the way Stanima is in this Madden, you don't need 3 running backs. Meats' best chance of getting back in the Super Bowl is to get a superstar running back through the draft and have a workhorse running back and ride that dude, because your little committee is cute, but you're not going to win anything with normal dev guys with 90 speed. It's just not going to happen. That does not play to your strengths, and that's what you need to do. Also, to some other guys, just find your identity. I mean, Matt went to the AFC Championship game because he knew his identity was to run the ball, and then he got hot in the playoffs. So there's a few guys who don't have an identity yet, and I think that's what they need to figure out. Woods, that's one of them, the Cleveland Browns. Sometimes he's throwing it, sometimes he's yanking his quarterback, sometimes he's running it. He needs to find his identity, and he has a shot at it. So that's my advice to some of the guys.
All right, we'll see if any of those guys take that advice. Somehow I doubt it.
Probably not.
All right.
Probably not.
So third down, speaking of guys doing better, we figure we have what, like 4 or 5 seasons left, probably 5 tops left in the cycle. With those 5 seasons, and we'll just, like I said, assume there's going to be 5. Who do you think, what division wins the most of the remaining Sambardis, and who wins those 5 Sambardis owner-wise? And we'll start with you, Grams.
Yeah. How about those Cowboys? No, not really. Cowboys aren't winning any Super Bowls. They're terrible this year. I think the easy answer here is the AFC. I know you said division, but I think you had said earlier we're talking conferences. I think the AFC has 2 to 3 guys, 2.5 guys. I'm going to give one of the 2 of you a half nod. I'm not going to tell you which it is. Dan and 1.5 of you guys that is capable of winning the Super Bowl, those next 5 Super Bowls. You guys have both done a good job building your team. Dan knows everything there is to know about Madden 21. He probably knows everything there is to know about Madden 22, even though it's not out yet or hasn't even been developed. So I just think you guys have a huge advantage. And in the NFC, like Prime said, I want to see Meat steal one. I'd like to see Faz get back there. But I think every season the AFC teams are getting a little bit stronger outside of Dookie. And let's face it, if Dookie makes it 2 more seasons, that's going to be an upset.
All right, Prime.
Yeah, I think the AFC is going to run away with it. We should have been up 3-0 if Dan didn't get fat fingers and commit run in the Super Bowl, which he's now saying it might not even been a fat finger. He thinks it could have been a glitch in the game, which, believe it or not, I may agree with Dan, because I've had some plays where, and I don't call cover for it, where it's been against RPOs where my guys just run up and commit run when I don't commit run at all. So, And it actually almost gave me an aneurysm when it happened. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. I think AFC wins. I think I'll probably win 2 of them, 2 or 3. I think that Bombers obviously in there. It's gonna be the big 3 in the AFC. In the NFC, I don't think Dookie makes another one. I think the guy who wins an NFC Super Bowl is QP. With that running back he's got, with that offense he's got, and if he can build up that defense, he will be fine. He's got the pieces in place. So Dookie, I'm just going to wipe all that crap out of there with some Lysol and say, you're out of here, buddy. And that's not foreshadowing anything, by the way.
Well, that's a shame. But Rowan, what are your thoughts on this?
I actually think the NFC will take more for the rest of the cycle. I think Dookie's mellowed out and chat a little bit. I think he's showing that he wants to stay around, and I think it's very likely we see him go on a little run here. As much as you guys hate the guy, he knows what he's doing. And what worries me about
Just
the
don't
AFC
bring
is
up Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, just don't do that.
Just
And he'll
don't bring
stay
up Deshaun
quiet.
Watson, because then he'll go nuts.
But when looking at the AFC has 3 really good teams in the Colts, the Broncos, and the Jags. But what worries me about that is in the playoffs, it takes one loss to end your season, and I think the NFC is a lot deeper. Looking at Washington meets the 49ers, the Rams, Faz, Dookie. Like there's a lot more depth in the NFC that I think. If Prime, if Bomber, if Dan does get beat, then there's not many people to step up that can win one behind them. But I wouldn't be surprised if Dookie goes on a little Super Bowl run here. So keep your eyes open.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Roe that I do think that there is a lot of chaos in the NFC playoffs versus the AFC playoffs. There are some teams in the AFC playoffs that when they come in, you kind of expect them to lose in the first round. But the NFC playoffs, I don't think there's any game that I've seen yet where I'm like, oh, that person's definitely winning.
I think Rowan Cuz purposely trying to lose his first and goal episode, because the last thing you want to do is say that Dookie's going to win multiple Sambardis with Mad Bomber being the host. That was a rookie mistake there.
Well, there's
Hey,
a
man,
reason Rowan has the least amount of
what's on
points
my
right now.
mind. I'm not sucking off my division mate like you, Prime.
Oh, okay.
All right. So let's go to topic number 4. And who is the most delusional owners in the SML? Some guys that just have no self-awareness. And we'll start with you, Prime.
Yeah, I'm looked at this for two ways. I've looked at it as your team delusional and also your skill set delusional. So team delusional, I'm saying Matt, the Patriots. And he came in this season, excuse me, and he said he wants to develop Drew Lock and all this stuff. Drew Lock's already a superstar and he's like 90 overall. Like, your quarterback's in place. You can get him to X Factor, but you're solid. Just do what you do, run the ball. And then as Grams. And then he's got a young running back in place. He's got Penny. He's got his rookie who's I think got superstar abilities, or he's going to. He's got a 90 overall receiver in Gallup. He's got 2 really good corners, and he's complaining about his pass rush, but that team is in play. It's a very solid team. So I think Matt just needs to win, and he just needs to cut the BS. He needs to get off Yahoo Finance or Fidelity or whatever he's on, and he just needs to focus on playing the game. As for skill set, that's Colt 45 all day. Last season, he said, and I quote, "Well, I'm just tanking this last half of the season. I wasn't even really trying." And it's like, well, dude, you've been tanking the last 3 years you've been here then, because I don't even know if you've made the playoffs before. And then so he says that. Now this season, and I'm going to quote a tweet here because he's already got an excuse for this season, and I quote, "Another 1-score loss in a rookie's development year. I'll take it." So he's already preparing his excuses for this year based on his team. Just no awareness, no self-awareness. Can't look in the mirror and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm struggling competing. I need to hit the practice mode or something." So Colt 45 skill set wise, Matt team wise.
All right, Rowan, what about you? What do you think?
I like what Prime did with the skill set and the team wise, so I'll do that. But I'm gonna do the same team for both. It's Figs. He's awful. Like, we know his trades are bad, yes, but like at the game as well, he's just I honestly don't know what he's doing sometimes when I watch him. Um, but he's ripped the team to shreds miserably, and he says he has an idea behind it. And then what makes him delusional is some of the stuff he says. Like in chat, he's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna get my Simbardi one day. I feel I can beat anybody in here." Like, beat Hova consistently before you worry about beating everybody in here. Confidence is a great thing, but like Prime said, self-awareness is another thing, and like having a general idea what you want to do with the team, not just gutting them because you get bored. Maybe gut them and rebuild if you know you can win, but Pigs, do something. Please, for the life of the SML. We like competition. We want you to succeed.
All right, Grams, what do you think?
Yeah. So I want to touch on a few of the players that have already been touched on. One, Colt 45 is also draft delusional. He had the best draft, and during that entire draft, he kept saying how terrible it was because he's expecting the 85 overall players to be falling to him with superstar abilities. But he had a great draft. He got like 4 or 5 players over 72 overall and was cursing at how bad his draft luck was. So also draft delusional. Matt, Patriots owner, stock market delusional. I'm sorry, GameStop is worth shit. Sell now. And Figs, he's also game management delusional and team management delusional. He now has no linebackers or D-line that can stop the run. We all witnessed that yesterday. He also benched Brady after he threw his first incompletion because Brady just wasn't getting it done at 3 for 4 and 100 yards. Sorry, that's not enough. You got to bench him. But the team that I've picked for team delusional is Woods. Woods is always looking to improve his team. I don't know if anybody's looked at Woods' team. He has an 88 overall starter at every single position, except for quarterback because he traded Baker Mayfield. But he still has 85, 88, 90, 95, all across the board. His secondary may be the best secondary in the game. Always looking for ways to improve that team, Woods. I don't know how much you can improve the Browns. They're pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think that may be one of the top teams next to the Chiefs. I mean, he's got weapons everywhere, but he's just never
really
satisfied with it.
I just want to throw in, we all kind of crapped on Colt 45 there. Nobody mentioned cutting Michael Thomas. That has to go for something. If you cannot mention the 99 overall receiver being cut and still have valid points, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. Him and Figs would probably be my two choices for the most delusional. Figs said something like, the only memorable games for me are Simbardi's, after somebody said something about their first SML win. Like, Figs, unless you're playing against the computer, when are you winning Super Bowls? Like, I just don't see it.
Never.
And then Colt with the whole I'm tanking, and then I'm tanking again, and whatever. Just keep tanking, because I got that first round pick.
Figs made an SML test league with all CPU teams and raised his ratings to 99 overall, then cut all those players because they weren't getting the job done.
And then by the third season, he got a Super Bowl.
Yeah, then he got a Super Bowl in a super sim.
But yeah, those were my two choices.
Graham.
Anyway, so we're actually that was fourth down, but since Dump didn't make it and he backed out tonight, I think the overtime question should be about Dump. So Dump started, what did he start? 2-0, 3-0. And it was all about Dump is going to win. Dump's going to do this. Dump's going to do that. And then he played some good teams, and he lost like 2 in a row. He lost to Woods. He lost to Dookie. I don't know who his next game is, but probably going to lose that one too, because that's how it seems to go with Dump. He came in talking about being, underrated. Nobody takes him serious. What do you guys think about Dump? Where does he kind of fit in as far as the pecking order of the SML? And we'll start with you, Rowan.
Dump. I think a lot of people know that me and Dump are pretty good, buddy in the league, and count it to the girl. I think that's what it is. He went through a while where he said he was single again, and that's when Dump's active in chat and he's winning games and he's saying Dump's underrated, Dump's gonna make a run. And then, here comes a picture of a girl that he's hanging out with. He's getting haircuts. Next thing you know, he's dropped 2 in a row. Dump's good when he's focused, but I think he's running around chasing the girls a little too much. And when that tends to happen, his Madden skills seem to fall off a little bit, which there's nothing wrong with what he's doing, but he's just got to pick one lane where he wants to be successful and go at it.
All right, Grams, what do you think?
Dump is one of those players who is really good at playing Dump's game. Last year, Dump's game, I think it was last year, he was the Jags. His game was huck it up to Shark every play. It was Shark on the post, Shark on the fly, Shark on the out route. And he would impose his will, and if you didn't game plan to stop Shark, then you probably lost to Dump. This year, he's got the Offensive Rookie of the Year or Offensive Player of the Week named after his running back Edens. And people have learned now, if you can slow down Edens and you make him try to beat you with the passing game, that's kind of how you beat Dump. So if you're able to if you're able to adapt, and I will say that maybe 30% of the league actually adapts to their opponent. And I'd say the other 70%, they just play their game every time. It's always the same game. They always play the same game. If you're able to adapt, I think Dump is the type of player that you can typically adapt for. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to beat him every time, but you'll slow down what he wants to do, and he's going to have to beat you with something else. I think there are some people that are very adaptive to who they're playing and are not playing the same game every time. I'll throw Bomber in there and Dan. I think you guys tend to switch it up. I've noticed, Faz can be tough too, because sometimes he can beat you with the run, sometimes he beats you with the pass. I think the Dump sometimes makes himself one-dimensional, and it makes it a little bit easier to game plan for him. So he falls more into that 7 to 12 range as opposed to that 1 to 5 range.
All right, and Prime, finish it off.
Yeah, Dump he's a good player. Everybody agrees on that. Last cycle, kind of the same deal with him. He started off the cycle very hot. He beat me twice in the regular season, actually, season 1. And this is the end of the GOAT. This is a new era in the SML. I still remember these messages in chat. And then I beat him by 20 points in the AFC Championship game, because when it gets to the big moments and the big teams, Dump can't get the job done. He's kind of like Marvin Lewis in the 2010s Cincinnati Bengals, where They cruised through the regular season, 11-5, 12-4. Then Andy Dalton at the helm, and they probably weren't going to win a game in the playoffs. And I think that we've given Dump a lot of excuses. And now this is 2 cycles in a row where he's not focused. And he kind of portrays that, well, I haven't been dialed in. But this has been 2 real life years now, and he's proven that he wants to win. I think that those are more excuses than anything, because we've seen people with jobs, with kids, with families. Dan's one of them. I'm married. There's plenty of guys who have life outside of Madden and can still compete and win Super Bowls. Dump, I don't think he's good enough because, like Ram said, he can't. He's not a chameleon. He can't change up. He's going to play his game. He's going to get it to superstar players, and that's it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you can't come in the cycle pointing the finger at Meats and saying, I'm going to beat the Meats. I'm going to slay Meats. And then after you lose, say that you don't even want, or during the game, even say that you're not dialed in, or you didn't even want to play this game because you're sleepy, or you took a Benadryl or something like that. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah, that's a great comment. You cannot come in and talk trash and then back it up by saying, I didn't care. Because it doesn't work. That's
not cool. That's poodle stuff. You barked at the big dog, and then it came up to your cage, and then you ran inside because you knew your owner was going to put you in their purse.
That's like saying that every quarterback is going to come to the Colts and then saying you were kidding after they don't.
Graham, shut up. Take that back right now.
So it's actually funny that we talk about Dump, because I looked it up after the heat check came out, and Dump was pretty offended about where we placed him on that list. I went back and I looked up his record for the cycle. And it was a pretty good record. It was like 33-15, which is really good. I didn't realize he had that good of a record during the regular season. But then I went and I looked at his record against playoff teams, and it was like 6-15. If you're gonna win, you got to win against the playoff teams. Don't just rest on your regular season laurels, beating up on Tiny there in the division and some of that bottom feeders of the NFC.
Before we move on and lay off of a team who has unrealistic expectations, there was another owner who was upset about their rankings and not being voted on as a player that could win the Super Bowl, and that was Noel. I don't know if you guys remember this.
I do remember.
But Noel is 1-5, and he's losing by an average of like 10 points a game. So I feel like I'm not on first and goal every time. And if we're going to be crap talking one owner for trash talk and then not backing it up, we'd be remiss if we didn't touch on Noel.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who seem to really they want the limelight, but when the lights get bright and they crack, then they don't want to take the heat of those words coming back on them, and it sucks, but that's just how it goes. You put that X on your back, you got to perform, and Noel hasn't performed.
Yep. All right, so that's going to do it for first and goal. And it looks like Prime is going to take the win by 1 point. Graham's almost pulled it out with the long-winded answer on Dump. I tried to give you a bunch of points, but just ran out at the end. In case anybody hasn't noticed, the more you talk on first and goal, the more points you get, because I'm not really paying attention. So Prime, these 30 seconds are all yours.
Yeah. Hey, guys, this is actually a 30-second dedication to Chris. Guys, do you remember a long time ago, Rowan Kuh beat Chris? And after the game, he posted a video. So, Rowan, in defense of Chris, Rowan, do you know what this is? This is a dub. That's right, baby. Go Colts. The GOAT is back. Going to be 17-time champ this year, and Rowan Kuh gets beat again, baby. That's how it's done.
All right, well, Rowan, Prime, and Indiana Jones, I appreciate having you guys on the show. Hopefully.
You realize you're 0-1 against me this cycle, right?
Oh boy, here we go.
All right, Steve, see it here. It begins already. Rowan's getting started. All right, guys, thanks for being on the show. Till next week. This has been First and Goal.
Thanks for listening to First and Goal. Be sure to check out Mad Bomber TV on Twitch and YouTube for the latest from the SML. And we'll see you next time on First and Goal.